Good morning. This is another marvelous week at WVAS. This is Monday, the 24th. We just had a brief meeting with Ms. Hogan about a lot of hard news that we have to cover this week. This is a lot of stuff that has been going on in the city of Montgomery. I'm just prepared. I'm ready for the week. Last week, I know I didn't close the vlog, but I ended up just going home after the food drive. They did give us like a lunch. Mr. Julius did a lunch for us at the studio, and that was about it. I don't know. Dr. Robinson left some notes on my first vlog about how am I using the things that I learned in class, in the field, and I will express those things this week in this vlog. So I will get back with you guys later on to show you what else we will be doing today. Okay guys, so now we're leaving Crime Stoppers. I can finally show y'all Winter now.
Hi.
She's not driving. I just did an interview with Mr. Tony Gary about the buyback program. I tried to get a little insight about asking about curfews, but it's in the interview. He did answer like there's no need for it right now, basically. There's still certain stuff they're not allowed to tell us or to say. But overall, it was a great interview. You know, I get good refreshments every time I come. So right now, I'll head back to the studio, and I guess I'm done for the day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I have the ADC conference. Yeah.
Sure. My name is Tony, T-O-N-Y, Garrett, G-A-R-R-E-T-T, and I serve as the Executive Director of Central Alabama Crime Stoppers.
Okay, so my first question would be, what are the primary goals of the gun buyback program?
The gun buyback program is an initiative that we started here at Crime Stoppers, and our primary goal is to get guns that are not being used off the street. And what I mean by not being used, the guns that your father may have gave you and you just left it in the box and just sitting on a cabinet somewhere, or the gun that an elderly person was left by their husband when he passed away and they've just been in the house. Those guns typically have served no purpose. But if someone breaks into your house, break into your car, and they steal that gun away from that person, then it becomes used to the criminal element because it's a clean gun. And a lot of times when police go to those type of calls, the person that owns the gun or has control of the gun, they don't have the make, model, serial number, any type of details on the gun. And by the gun being purchased by another person, therefore the criminal has a clean gun on their hand. So police may contact that person, but the gun is showing not stolen because a lot of people, they have guns in their control or their possession that they are not using properly, meaning they're not storing it properly. They don't have the make and model serial numbers written down, and it's just there for no use.
I see you spoke about clean guns. Like, what's the protocol if someone brings an unclean gun to the buyback?
Yeah, we like to keep some things secret, but the day of, people have no fear about there being some type of setup or anything like that. We're just looking to get those guns off the street, first of all, because a gun off the street that's not being used is a safe gun. Second, we destroy those guns within 90 days. Now, if it is a gun that was used in a crime a long time ago, we do have protocols that we use to see if that gun may be of use to investigators or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how are the firearms processed and disposed of after you collect those guns?
Well, we have a list of the guns that we collect, that we turn over to ATF, because we want to take those off the register. So if someone does have a gun, they won't be used or won't be accused of using it in the future. But those guns that we collect, they are actually destroyed within 90 days, and we use a company to come in and they cut. You'll see this Saturday, you'll see the guns being cut up from previous gun buybacks. You'll start seeing some of those guns being cut up. that same day. Then the next gun buyback, we'll cut up those ones that we collected from the first gun buyback.
What long-term changes do you hope to see as a result of the gun buyback programs?
Long term, we hope that you can't document these things, but you can say that we know for a fact that the guns that we collect would never be used in a future crime.
With the most recent crime that's going on, like, are there any implements of curfews or being talked about right now for the city?
That we have, we serve 33 counties. We serve 120 law enforcement agencies signed memorandums of understanding. So our focus is not just Montgomery. We get a bulk of information from Montgomery. So we try not to go into who, what, when, where, how, or politics part of it. We have a purpose, and our purpose is to be that medium between law enforcement, the community, and the media. So when law enforcement need to use us as a resource, that's when we come forward. Now, if a politician asks us, hey, well, what other policy or procedures have you seen in other cities? Then yes, we're more apt to come in and say, okay, you need to contact this mayor or this politician or this police chief, and they can explain what policy or procedure or what initiative that they use to deter whatever topic that they bring to us.
Well, thank you, Mr. Garrett. Would you like to add anything else before we leave today?
No, again, this is a nonprofit organization, and we're here to serve the community, and that's what we believe that we're doing. And this gun buyback initiative is just one of the things that we do on a daily basis. We wish we could do more because we know that a lot of people are holding on to guns that are not being used, and they need to be destroyed.
Back with the update, guys. I just left the Alabama Democratic, what it was, the conference, the ADC. We spoke with Gamble. With Miss Sheena Gamble. We will also see her tomorrow at the actual conference. Right now, I'm with Ms. Rudolph. I'm not going to show her because she's driving. We're going to Crime Stoppers to talk about the buyback of firearms that's going down. Is it this weekend or is it next weekend? Isn't it July?
Yeah, I think so.
I have the flyer. I just can't look at it right now because I'm making this vlog. But I'm going to interview Mr. Tony Garrett about that, and also ask about are they implementing any curfews, to stop some of the crime violence in the city. So I will see you guys when I get there.
Okay.
Welcome to another day at WVAS. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Alright, guys, we're on our way to the Alabama Democratic Conference, press conference. I have my notepad with my questions. I get to see the Democrats fight today. I'm so excited. Kayla is also going.
Hi.
We're riding with Miss Rudolph. It's a group. There's one office in there? Oh, girl, we offer it. Hold on.
I personally believe that President Joe Biden is unaware of this tragedy. We were asked to recruit delegates for the Biden-Harris campaign, and we recruited 115 people to run. However, the campaign struck 81 persons who had properly qualified to run for delegate, pledged to President Biden. Some of the delegates.
Yes, and I have a couple questions for you. I want to know how has this affected you as the former chair?
Well, it has affected me to be more diligent as far as fighting and speaking for folks who can't speak for themselves. And also, I was elected for that. I'm the first black chair that was really
elected by predominantly black people. And we are much concerned as the racism, certainly in the Republican Party, but we're more concerned with the racism in the Democratic Party because we have built the Democratic Party. If it wasn't black people, it wouldn't be no Democratic Party. So if you look at the statistics, you can see that over 80% of blacks are voting for the Democratic ticket.
So are there any ways that we can fight this? That way it can kind of stop some of the racial shenanigans?
I think doing what we're doing now, trying to expose it. You've got to expose it. Dr. King talked about it in his speech about exposing evil is a way of preventing evil. But as long as it's swept under the rug and nobody know about it, until we take this mess and sit down. And we're too oppressed to be so quiet. So we're going to have to open our mouths, speak out. And the powerful thing, freedom fight.
So were there any reasons stated for the disqualification of the 81 invited candidates?
They couldn't give us a reason. They can't find a reason. And maybe if you could call someone, they may give you the press a reason. But we've never been given a reason. The only reason is racism. That's the reason. Some white folk pick some other white folks, their buddies, and some black folk for cosmetic reasons to make it look good. But it minimized or diminished our youth representation as well as our black representation.
So do you feel racism is also the cause of why they changed the selection process this year?
That's correct. That's no other reason that I can come up with, and no other reason that they can come up with. They may be in denial about it, but that's the only reason. They just hate to see a black chairman that is unbought and unbossed. Now, if they had a hand-picked mannequin type of chairperson, it wouldn't have been a problem. But on the other hand, I'm one that they didn't elect. I had some other people elected, but I was elected by predominantly black leaders because they wanted to see a change in the party from the last administration.
Guys, we're back at the studio. That was an eventful press conference, I must say. I can't really talk about it, but it was eventful. But right now, we're back. We just discussed with Ms. Hogan some notes I took about the event. And we talked about an event tomorrow at 10. And I also have to call Ms. Victoria Belton about the SOAR program that they're collaborating with Alabama State about for an interview about that week, which started today. So I'm editing the vlog right now. I'm about to letting us go, about to go home and do some research and prepare for my interview tomorrow with the director of the SOAR Summer Program. So I will see you guys in the morning.
So I'm gonna ask you guys a question you might not have the answer to. Does anybody have a guess as to why I might have added the A to STEM?
Spending time with family. I think it's like a transitional period for a lot of me and my cousins and my friends. You know, we're growing up, and it's important to spend time with each other and to be there for each other, and just like do and experience as many things as possible so that we can learn more about what we might want to do in life.
You're so young, so how do you balance the emotional toll of working in health?
Well, I think it's definitely something that I'm still learning how to balance. You know, being so young, my brain isn't even fully developed, and so trying to be aware of that while also still trying to emotionally regulate is just something that I think awareness helps me a lot through. Realizing that these are problems that to some extent I will face my whole life, and that it's always just about balance and regulation, and that sometimes that means things will be off balance and unregulated, and giving myself those moments to feel and let things out because that's real is how I work through that.
So guys, we are leaving the Southern Youth Leadership Department Institute.
Come on. That's the
That's
only
my
thing I
name.
can think of. Like,
We met some civil rights legends.
That's so crazy.
So I
It's a
thought-
great experience.
It was Dr. Dorothy Jean is a 17-year-old young woman. She has a doctorate. It was great talking to her, getting her perspective of how pursuing education so young. Now we're heading back to the studio because it's hot to see what's on the itinerary. Hopefully it's lunch. Good morning, vlog. We're going to cover an HIV testing event on campus. It is a little buggy out here. Yeah, we can drive because it's hot.
Are we supposed to vlog though like this?
No, we doing this for our
Last name Tillman, and I'm the Chief Prevention and Outreach Officer with Five Horizons Health Services. So I oversee all prevention and outwork activities with our agency from Montgomery down through Dorothy.
Can you tell me a little about what we're doing out here today?
Absolutely. So today is National HIV Testing Day, and we're just here spreading information to students and the campus at large about how they can be tested for free. And also to bring recognition to the day as a reminder, like this is a part of your wellness, this is a part of your general health. There's no stigma attached to it. Come get tested. It takes 5 minutes. And we're offering free food and Walmart gift cards. Question?
Okay. What type of HIV test will be administered and how accurate is it?
Absolutely. So there are 2 types of HIV tests that we typically use. There's one called Oral Quick. That's an oral swab. You swab the cheeks and it takes about 20 minutes for a result. Today we're using Instinct, which is one of the most accurate tests, and it takes 5 minutes for a result. You take a finger prick. It looks similar to a COVID test, if you all remember. You put the drops, the fluid, and then you get some dots or lines or whatever to give you your result. So that's the one that we're doing today. It's real quick, in and out.
What follow-up support or resources will be available for participants who test positive for HIV?
I can hear you.
What type of follow-up or resource do you guys have for participants who test positive?
Absolutely. For anyone who gets a reactive test, the first step is to get linked into care. And what we would do is call our on-site staff member who's over intake, and they would do a lab draw. That's the confirmatory test. So we have our quick instant test, but to confirm, there is another test. And then you will immediately be brought into wraparound care with Five Horizons. Just to get you started. Now, if you choose, hey, I want to go to UAB 1917 clinic, I don't want to be in Montgomery, that's fine. But you'll have resources to all the doctors for medicine, social services, and all the things we offer, like today.
My question is, what made you take on this cause of HIV awareness?
I believe that people tend to forget about HIV. We think it went away. It's from the 90s. Oh, so-and-so had it, Magic Johnson had it. It's done away with, but it's not. And unfortunately, in our community, there's a lot. When I say our community, I mean African American community. There's a lot of stigma surrounding HIV and just sexuality in general. So we don't want people to forget that it's still transmittable. It still exists. And as you get let's say you get your breast exam, your pap smears, you need to get this on a regular basis too. So
Thank you so much.
all right.
Guys, we are back at the studio. It is now pouring down outside. Me and Kelly just had lunch. They gave us a voucher, a ticket to get some food at the food truck. We're discussing interviews for the upcoming week and stories to cover. Miss ASU is doing an interview right now. I have to call Mr. Tony Gary about a cold case for next week as well. And the day is basically over. I will see you guys tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow. Monday. Tomorrow is Friday. I will see you guys Monday at 9.